Okay. So that addresses the Freya stuff. I'm now going to go into the cybercrime stuff. So this also accuses me of doxing people. I think it accuses me of doxing their spies or some shit. It accuses me of trying to dox the CNRA and other cybercriminal activities. Some of the stuff goes back to like 2019. So let's run this through. They accuse Volkmarist, Ozzy, and Plague of being these doxers. So let me outline who these guys are. Volkmarist doesn't really like me. He's pretending to like me, but he's a double agent for either Aryan or some other organization. He tried to exploit Octavium a couple of weeks or months ago. He doesn't like me. He's not part of Octavium. I think he joined it for a brief period under Ozzy, because he's loyal to Ozzy. Now, as for Ozzy being a doxer, he's not really a serious doxer. At one point, he was the Imperator of Cadens. Maybe he's doxed people. I don't really know. I know that he's kind of joked about it, like, oh, I can dox you, I can do this or that. And I know that he's done other stuff along those lines, but I've never seen him actually dox someone and ruin someone's life. I think when the Kavar incident happened, there were some threats, but I'm not going to go off on Ozzy. And then Plague, similar thing. Plague gives off this personality of like, oh, like, yeah, if you're a pedo, I'm going to dox you. Oh, if you're a pedo, I'm going to make you cut yourself. I think it happened with Kavar at one point. But neither Ozzy or Plague are in Octavium. They were actually, I don't want to say blacklisted, but they were kind of removed a long time ago, and they remained removed until actually a month ago, I believe. And Zaire brought them back, and they originally accused Zaire of like fostering this monkey crew deep state cult or whatever they were saying. And I don't really, and then I said no. I said, actually, I brought some of these guys in. I brought in Aurora, I brought in Objective Nub, I brought in, I think those were the main two I addressed. And they were like, no, Kavar, and then, trying to connect the dots here. But anyway, I didn't rank Ozzy and Plague into the SD. I don't know if Plague joined the SD, but they were in the group for a short period of time, and they got removed again. So, anyway, he claims, the main thing I want to address here is the CNRA shit. I don't want to spend 20 minutes on Ozzy and the monkey crew. I'll address the monkey crew in a bit. I'm not going to read all this, but they basically say that I sanctioned Aryan to dox the CNRA. So a lot of these screenshots talk about the exploits, because that was the main issue with the CNRA. They were exploiting my game. They were lagging the game. They were running kill all scripts. They were doing things to kill my game, and then they were claiming that they were basically claiming, sorry, I had a brain fart. I'm doing this raw. I'm trying to stay on topic. That the exploits that they were doing were harmless. Oh, we're playing Glenn Quagmire. We're doing this. We're doing that. And the fact of the matter is that, like, they were playing lag exploits. They were running exploits that destroyed the game. This was not just a funny exploit war. Their objective was to ruin the group. And I have a chat with Zhang, which I don't need to go over that. That's going to be a long thing for no reason. Where he basically said, like, yeah, your group is a LARP group. His group is a raid group. You know, your group might be more active, but it's shittier and it's low. And it's like shit content and yada yada yada. And so anyway, that's why they were exploiting my map. So Malleable at first was kind of helpful. He was giving me some of the exploits, whatever, but it wasn't enough. You know, he would fix like one exploit and then he'd start giving me help. And it was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, and you know, this doesn't really mean anything. Maybe I'll take care of CNRA. This is just him saying Octavian Persian. This guy is Aryan. You know, he's saying, oh, we're going to have an Octavian Persian alliance. Sure, but we need to patch these exploits. Their claim is that Aryan was paid and sanctioned to dox CNRA, right? This screenshot proves is that actually Aryan was just trying to be friendly and offer me a favor, which didn't include doxing originally. We'll get to that in a minute, though. None of this relevant. So I'm going to actually show this from my point of view. I have my documents pulled up, and we're going to go through this one by one. So we already went through this about the exploits. You know, how do you know what the exploits are, how do we patch it, we need to effing patch it. He's not being helpful, right? So now it was not being helpful. This was already seen. This was one of the things they did. You know, this document has a lot of grooming and CP. Well. When the CNRA hijacked our webhook, they called it a CP bot 5000. And then someone told me, I heard from someone that they were spamming like carpet video or like a screenshot from the carpet video. It's like, okay. So they have bots called CP bot, and they're also trying to spread alleged CP of me from when I was 16 or some shit. So I don't have proof of that, but I mean, what I have proof of is of this. That's what they were doing. These are not children. These are not innocent babies. These are people that are acting extremely toxic. So what do? I talked to Arian under the account Pyrus, which was supposed to be like a secret account because I don't want to go into too much detail, but there were plans with the stalemated leadership to bring Arian into the community under a legitimate nation because Arian was withdrawing himself from the cybercriminal world and they thought that he was rehabilitated. So if you're going to say, oh, well, why are you working with Arian when he's a doxer and this and that? Well, it wasn't first of all, it wasn't my idea or my plan. Second of all, when it comes to Arian, okay, it's like everyone else, I don't want to say it was everyone else that was doing this, but when the leadership's bringing him in and they're saying he's all good now, like the cops talk to him and he's not a doxer and he's only 14, that's like, okay. I mean, whatever, you know, go with the flow. So, of course, that kind of gives me a green light to say, okay, well then I'll work with him if he's no longer a doxer and a threat. So, my main thing with him is we need to patch these exploits. That's the goal. If we get Madrid 100% patched, we can work towards an official alliance. It's not, you know, if we can get Madrid patched, I'll pay you money. It's if we get Madrid patched, I'll ally you. That's not a payment. That's not a payment. This is him talking about, so Arian had intel on CNRA, and he was saying, they were talking about the carpet video. For those who don't know, it's a video that Root Media covered where allegedly it's supposed to be me at 15 or 16 doing stuff inappropriately or whatever. It's alleged. Root Media did a debunk on it, said it was fake, whatever. But people that spread the video, people that are obsessed with the video, you know, if they believe the video is true, then it's CP, right? Because if the video was real, it'd be CP. So Arian was saying that the CNRA is spreading the video, they're talking about it, which is effed up. You know, why would you want to spread CP of me? Why would you want to, you know, from a pedophile named Valerium? It just doesn't make any sense. So that's what a lot of this is. I keep asking for updates, kind of an emergency, because these guys are causing issues, da-da-da-da-da. Then of the VC. And look at this. Isn't Volkmar friendly with you? But can you ask him for the scripts? Why am I asking him about this? Because Volkmar was exploiting, or he claimed he was trying to exploit my game. But in the same document, they're saying Volkmar is friendly with me. So if Volkmar is friendly with me, why am I having Arian talk to him? Because Arian worked with Volkmar, and he's Arian's guy. That's why. Don't mean to crash out, but it's just like, this shit's like knocking on wood for me. Trying for the scripts. And this is the stuff I was sent. CNRA is now an Arius puppet. It's just vague. At first, it was just vague screenshots. And he's like, what do you want me to get out of them? I just want the exploits and the F off. You know? And I was barely reading these screenshots. You know? I'm like, okay, well, they're out of war, whatever, not a big deal. And this is another thing that proves I didn't pay Arian to dox these guys. I think it's funny, but I like the chaos of people scrambling. I'm doing this out of kindness and for chaos. And also, nowhere is it expressed that he's doxing them out of kindness. He just says doing this as in getting me the exploits. Which is what I reiterate in this sentence. Can you try to get the exploits that they're using so that we know what one's the patch? That would be super helpful. I'm going to finish this workout and then rank you. That's all most of this is. And that's more exploits. More exploits. More exploits. This is him saying, this is him crashing out, I think, the day after these. Or no, a few days before. Either way, he's crashing out saying, Zhang bootlicked Monty Fellup and got kicked out and tries to be like him. Zhang is generally such a retard. I'm talking about every day, but they're trying to remake Eighth Road Army. So this guy is not trying to kill these people just because he's doing me a favor. He has a motivating factor behind Monty Phillip and Eighth Army as to why he hates these people. I don't know what that is. I saw my again with Zhang. A lot of the chat log was him saying how Zhang ran into Monty Phillip and how Zhang needs to be destroyed over time. So that's the exploits. Like I said, a lot of this is just me getting the exploits. The doxing is not to the very end of the GC. And I'm not saying he didn't dox or try to dox Zhang. My argument is that I didn't pay or encourage him to dox Zhang. That's what this is about. When this NGA jobless without a car begging for donations in Roblox while simply trying to dox, paying to dox a minor. That is not true. Anyone has never paid to dox Zhang. And that's me saying, where's the proof? You know. And people will say, like, oh, he said this after Zhang got doxed. No, I said this in the context of, yeah, if you exploit my game, I'm going to send you to infiltrate your group, right? So that, obviously, I can patch the exploits. And I know that, like, you know, he said dox a minor, and it's like, you know, that's like, oh, he's saying he will dox a 10-year-old if they F up the game. That's not what I'm saying there. Even though it might come off that way. This is another thing I want to mention. So, CNRA are babies. They're innocent. They're not guilty or whatever. Well, that's interesting, because Zhang and Malleable try to pretend to be Stall. I'm trying to make sure my thing is still running. They pretend to be Stalberterian, DM'd me on an alt, on the Stalberterian alt, and said, hey, I'm willing to give you permission to use Madrid if you sell us the maps. Good thing I didn't take the offer. Let's go to the next screenshot. Well. Stall was a honeypot from Zhang on an alt. Interesting. I asked the actual Stalberterian, and we know it's the real Stall because the map's not getting DMCA'd anymore. I asked him, did you try to sell Madrid several months ago? No. So what does that prove? The CNRA went on an alt. They went on an alt. Okay. To try and steal money from me. Hundreds of dollars to be exact. So, I also want to address the Monkey Crew. The Monkey Crew is not a cyber criminal doxing organization. Right? They're not. This is their organization. It's got Operator, Richard, Pretorial, Nick, Patty, Ashley, Herman, Yellow Mustang, and then you've got Volkmar as 2, yes, as a doxer. And then Aussie, of course, because he's the head of it. So, that debunks the Monkey Crew shit. There's also this. Yeah, just another screenshot, more in-depth screenshot. And this is a testimony. What is the Monkey Crew? For those who are curious what the Monkey Crew is, they're not a doxing organization. They're a crew, just like the Smiths, just like the Rotarians. They were a crew that was made back in the days of Prussia, which was late 2020, of a friend group. When Aussie became a Cadden in 2023, was it? That was when, you know, there was stuff with, like, doxing. And Herman makes a very good statement. He says, you know, if there was any doxing, it wasn't a Monkey Crew thing. It was probably an Aussie thing. Which is reaffirmed in this statement. So, that's why when Eighth was talking to me in person, that he was saying, oh, the Monkey Crew, like, you must know more about this. There's more to it. No, there isn't, Eighthel. And I stand by that. Because the Monkey Crew is a fun shitpost group. That's what they are. So. That was the apology announcement. I do want to address some of the doxing, because I don't want to, like, leave out that side. Because there was doxing that Arian did, and I didn't properly disavow it or whatever. So this was what he sent to Zhang. And I don't remember when he doxed him or whatever. I think that's Zhang's dox. I don't know what that is. But I don't remember seeing this screenshot. It might have been in the group chat, it might not. But I honest to God don't remember this screenshot. So I'm assuming this is something that Zhang screenshotted. And I just never knew about it. Or I forgot about it. I don't know. But I don't remember seeing this. What I do remember, yeah, they also said they tried to hack into his Instagram account. I'm trying to remember. Okay, where is it? Hold on. I gotta scroll all the way down to... Here it is. Oh, I guess they did. Okay, so... And that's my bad. Like I said, I don't remember this, right? Because I didn't stare at it. So this was a screenshot that I took that I sent to Mike for context. That's what this is. It's a screenshot that I took and I sent it to Mike, showing him that, yes, you know, out of goodwill, I'll admit honestly that he posted this stuff in the group chat. But did I pay him? Did I encourage him? Anything like that? No. Now, as for this is supposed to be the like thing that I saw. So when Aaron told me that he had doxed Zang and that's how he got it to happen or whatever, that's what I was sent. Now, anything that's personal is blocked out, but from what I remember on the screenshot, it had hashtag phone numbers and it had, I think it was either partial names or his full name. And that's all I remember seeing. What I found out later is allegedly Arian tried to hack into his Instagram account, which we can't prove that unless Arian himself admits it, and that he threatened to leak Zhang's parents' social security number, which I disavow. And I disavow doxing in general, right? But the thing is like when I get the exploits from Zhang and I find out during or after that he doxed Zhang, what am I going to do? Am I going to, reverse it and say, never mind, exploit my games? And I was very angry at the time. I was like, okay, like this was bad. I disavow this, but let's just end this and make peace. And that's what I tried to do. I wasn't made a group chat with Zhang where I said, look, like what Arian did was shitty. Thankfully you are actually doxed. He just threatened you, whatever, but we can just move forward. This war is over. And, make your apology. I'll make my own announcement about this and move forward. What actually happened is that Zhang left the group chat, called me a scumbag, deleted his apology announcement, and then Mike called me and we talked about this, where he asked me the same things, we went over this. And what Mike said at the time was that, I should have done more to prevent Arian from doxing or whatever. Or he said that I should have put in more effort, I think is what he said. He didn't say that I paid Arian to dox anyone. He didn't say that I encouraged Arian or enabled it. He just said I should have, when it happened, I should have been like full disapproval. And instead I was indifferent. Another thing about the incident is that when Arian posted the doxes and stuff, like I said, I remember I saw this. This I didn't really look at. Obviously I sent it to Mike because when I went back in the group chat, I'm like, oh, he did send this. He did send something in the group chat that had more information. But that's what I remember. And you can either believe me or not, but that's what I remember happening, and that is what happened. And that is true. I mean, I said this earlier, the CNRA are animals. They're complete freaking animals. They deny that they ever spread carpet video. They deny the CP bot stuff, whatever. They deny that they tried to scam me out of $300. But at the time, I felt like what Arian had done was establish justice. He scared these people. They got humbled. They move on, right? And that's how it felt. Now, let's say that Arian went and posted his docs or went further with it. Yeah, I'd be against that. Or if I had known in that time that Arian threatened to post his parents' social security, or if I had known that there was more to it, I probably wouldn't have said that. But it's like, if you're going to capitulate because Arian sent you your first name and a partial phone number, it's like that's not really a big deal. You know what I mean? I don't really see that as a really big deal. I mean, it is a big deal. I'm not saying if you post someone's first name and they're 5 digits their phone number, that's not a big deal, and that you're trying to blackmail coerce them into giving information, right? But I didn't see it as okay, I need to kill this guy, I need to totally disavow Arian, and I was angry. And what I will admit, because I know a lot of this has just been me defending myself and not admitting any wrong. So what I will admit is that I was angry, and I should have done more to stop Arian. I should have said, Arian, okay, You should not do that. You shouldn't coerce him. But the issue with doing that was that it was already too late. Even if I wanted to, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. So, I think that's really the gist for CNRA. I don't really need to go into more depth. I think they do a testimony from who? From IP Chum, the owner of CNRA. Yeah, none of this stuff really matters. I kind of addressed it basically. And then there's also the Der Spies incident, supposedly. Here's me insulting him. Here's me calling him, a faggot. Whatever. Call me a homophobe. I don't give a shit. But it's true. A lot of people in Teutonia hate their spies. People that are in his inner circle right now hate the spies. I have people that I know in real life who are like, yeah, that guy is the worst person in Teutonia. He's got a really bad reputation. And when I have tried talking to him and working with him, he has always been a complete nuisance. He has always been a complete troll. He has never been nice. He's never been friendly. He's always been a complete nuisance and someone who, frankly, I hate working with. So yeah, I stand by that. What I don't stand by is them claiming that I tried to dox him. Did Alexander ask to reach their speeds and threaten him? Yes, it was his entire lying thing. So he basically tried to lie to both sides. That's not true. I never wanted their speeds doxed. Why would I? What good would that do? Wanting him doxed and having him doxed, it wouldn't do any good. I've never doxed anyone in my life. In the indictment, they're going to say in 2019 that I did. They're going to say that I tried to dox Lopi 1227 or something. And I'll get to that in a minute. But in regards to the Der Spies thing, it's like no. What good would come from that? Nothing. They also claim in the document somewhere that I tried to dox Stahl. Let me just read this. This apparently is Arian, or one of the people that I apparently contracted harassing Der Spies. And that's, wait, is that it? After senior issue, I was given a few more security name Alec, who told Secure of an account link to the cybercriminal that could possibly be him, which I banned from all Teutonia Sylvania servers. Alec asked me why I banned the account, which I explained was linked to the cybercriminal. We wanted to with him and I. Later, I introduced me to the cybercriminal account I had banned for Stalemate in Myrick. Criminal said I was talking shit about him, talking to Alec, and he was going to dox me and blowing up the platform. I think to criminal that Alec never happened, and that's what I did with him for doxing in general. He listened to where I said, lived Alec, married threats. I don't remember any of this. Now that Alec has never liked me and has tried to derail me any chance he gets. I've never tried to do anything to you. And I'm almost tempted to think this is a lie because I don't remember any of this. I added you a GC on my main account and had cybercriminals threaten you? This doesn't make any sense. Where are the screenshots for this incident? Now they are claiming that I doxed this girl who went by Leah, and then her old account was Piper. I didn't actually dox her face or anything. What happened with Leah was that her old account was Piper. And Piper had rejoined Octavium on the account known as Leah. And what exactly happened with that was that essentially Piper got banned for being an e-girl. Piper's dox was already exposed. It was out there. Obviously, I'm not saying it's justified. We banned people for posting her face and whatnot. But people knew what she looked like. She joined a call, turned her camera on. Everyone knew what she looked like. So, she sent someone in Octavium known, I think it was either Bra Moment or some other guy, her face. Or she was in a video call with Bra Moment, now there are a few other guys, and someone screenshotted her face and sent it to me. And I'm like, wait, that's Piper. And I did the lighting so it brightened the face, and I said, yeah, that's not Leah, that's Piper. And then I had sent that to Cole and Freya and said, hey, does this look like Piper? And they both agreed. After they both agreed, I was like, okay, well, I might as well just, ban her again. And I confronted her, and I actually changed my mind. I said, you know what? I'm not going to ban you. I gave her a second chance. Again, this is not doxing or leaking her face. This is me confirming that she is someone who was previously banned via her face. This is a lie. I sent it to Colt, who was the second in command, to verify her identity, not to expose her. And this doesn't mean anything. This was me. There was more to this than just that. I said more than just that, I'm pretty sure. Another thing is the Stahl thing. So when Stahl and I were in a DMCA war, our issue was that Stahl didn't give us a real name. He gave us a fake name, so in order to prosecute and take him to court for what he was doing was not possible. In order to circumvent that, we had a plan to get his real name and information so that we could take him to roadblocks and finally take him to court or do something where he could stop doing the DMCA thing. The plan wasn't to get his docs and then reveal it to the entire internet. What would that do? That'd do nothing. That'd piss him off further. And it would gain us nothing. We weren't going to blackmail him or coerce him with his information. The idea was to use it in the context of the DMCAs to then resolve the DMCA war, which we found out didn't need to happen. And as a matter of fact, we never really went forward with it. It was an idea, it was a theory, we floated around with it, but we never really got to the bottom of it because it didn't really need to happen. They say that this is me sending his full name. That's not confirmed. I don't know what this is. NSFW. Okay, I don't know what that is. But anyway. I don't know what's wrong with this. This is me saying some guy from Norway. And I think that's pretty much it. They criticize the personality call. I'm not going to sit down and go over that. That's retarded. They also go over the papacy situation. How long are we in? 27 minutes. So this is what happened with the papacy. So for those who don't know, Howard Rosenberg stole the Octavian papacy from me. This was the group that held the masses. This was the group that did all the religious stuff with the priests and whatnot. Howard Rosenberg and I had a call a few months ago where Howard Rosenberg told me that there are people within the papacy who essentially didn't like the idea that the papacy had Octavian branding. And he proposed that we rebrand the papacy to seem more indifferent and neutral, right? So, me and him talked, and the idea was basically this. The idea was to change the holder name, give Howard more access, and what we were going to do is we were going to say, okay, well, Howard has the email and whatnot, but I have the recovery email. And me and Howard in the call sat down, and I literally said to him, I said, hey, you can, because I trust him, I said, you're one of my good best friends, you're my right-hand man, you know, whatever. And I instructed him very clearly, you know, put down a recovery email. What does Howard actually do? He transfers ownership of the main group to Howard Rosenberg, which, I mean, that's not the biggest deal because he could just transfer it back and whatnot. And the other thing is that he locked me out of the account. So he transfers the main group to his main account and then locks me out of the holder account. And when I asked him to get back into it, he said, no, because it's mine now. We made an agreement that I can run the papacy now and the UGC and this and that. And I said, no, we didn't. His argument is that I changed my mind about giving him ownership and then demanding it back. So that doesn't really make any sense. Because why would I say, all right, Howard, like take papacy, run away with it, and then change my mind about it? So let's read through these screenshots. What this is that me and Howard could never come to an agreement, right? He never came to an agreement about the papacy. Because I told him, look, dude, like I don't need to own the papacy. Just share the ownership. And he said no. Until he eventually suggested a legal document. He said, if you make a legal document that's legal proof that guarantees that if I give you joint ownership, you won't steal the group or sabotage me, then we'll proceed. So I said, fine. My dad is a defense attorney. I'm kind of doxing, you know, my father here, but he's an attorney. And I said, okay, deal. I'll talk to my dad. Tansny claims to be a law student. I think he is. I don't know. I don't really care. And they made a document. And so we made this document. My dad approved it. It was a template that we had made. My dad approved it. Tansy looked over it, proofread it, I proofread it, and then I sent it to Howard. Howard claims that his cousin or his uncle or I forget what, but someone in the family apparently he claimed that it was a fake document, that there was stuff that wasn't legal proof, and da-da-da-da. I'm not a law guy. I don't know. My dad's a lawyer. He's pretty good at it from last I checked, and he knows what he's doing. Tansy might not be a law student, but the guy who's a lawyer signed off on it and said it looks good. Now, I don't know, like, if maybe he made a mistake, or maybe he's not used to, like, contracts and stuff, or whatever, but that's what happened. Howard then accused me of lying to him about making a legal soundproof document and said that this was testament to me being a bad actor because apparently stuff in the document was illegitimate. I don't know for sure. I'm not a lawyer, okay? That's why I left it to the professionals. And that's what happened with that. And then they go into the cult stuff, I think. And, I mean, that's pretty much it for the doxing. I'm going to end it there. So we now address the Freya, and now we just have to addressing the doxing. I'm going to make another document addressing miscellaneous stuff, other members of the group, and we'll go from there.